grab a cup of tea for this one because I'm diving in deep into everything that happened from, well, maybe almost like moving to Stockholm and now making the decision to move back home. Live updates are happening and I don't know, I just felt quite like disconnected from you guys because it was just kind of daily vlogs, but the bigger picture was kind of missing. Like I have so much to share and I had so many big decisions to make this last period. So let me fill you in. It's about time. For those of you that are new here, I moved to Sweden about a year ago to be with my boyfriend. His name is Johan and he is Swedish. We met on Italy when we were on Erasmus together, and then we did long distance for a bit, and then I left my student city, Nijmegen, to live here, which is very cool and it's been a very much of a big journey. And I'm so happy I lived it, but I'm also so happy to say I'm moving home, and I'm saying that with the most excited voice and face and everything. Like I am very, very happy to get the opportunity to go back. Mostly because I'm going back for a dream project, which is a PhD. It is in Wageningen, which is very close to Nijmegen, so I can go back to my student city where I definitely wanted to live a bit longer. The topic is also very inspiring. It's about sustainability transition, specifically meat consumption and how people feel about that, beliefs, values, frustration, and why. It's very cool. Oh, it's gonna be so interesting. And yeah, 4 years of my life, so it's really not nothing. I'm very excited to share about this journey, what I'm gonna go through. I think it's gonna be such a cool experience to have in life. I will be taking you along. I will be filming lots of other content too. Like I'm very excited to have a foundation that makes me feel very set, from which I can also create. That's really how I envision it, so I hope that's how it's gonna feel. But yeah, in this video I also want to talk a bit about just my experience this last year. It's been a lot and I feel like maybe there might be others moving abroad, wanting to move abroad, like people that can just kind of relate to these feelings and maybe feel a bit less alone, because in my experience loneliness has really like clouded this year a bit, which is very sad to say, and that doesn't mean that there weren't people around me. I'm very, very happy to say I have very quality friendships and like I'm definitely surrounded by love and I can feel that. But that doesn't mean that it's not quite an isolating thing to grow through, to move to a new country without really having like an environment to fall into, if that makes sense. I moved here for my thesis, which was, I mean, I had the most amazing supervisor. But then outside of that, there was not a lot of life for me to be part of. So that was hard. And I think like what was hard for me was, well, it's relating to two levels. First of all, the bureaucracy. The feeling that I won't belong if I don't have an ID card or if I don't speak Swedish. Like there's just a lot of steps you go through and a big commitment to feel like you belong in a new place that is, for me, like quite far from things that I grew up from. You would say that the Netherlands and Sweden are very similar, but of course it's a new country, it's a new language. There is going to be differences and it does feel different being here than being in the Netherlands. I'm not trying to create this whole TED talk here, but I do think it's good to just share my experience and check in how I'm feeling, because I truly feel like I'm doing a lot better now that I know that I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna be working under a contract and everything is just gonna feel like it's figured out and I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm doing for a bit longer than the next month. That was one part, the bureaucracy, but the other part was also loss of almost identity. Like, how do you fit into a new country while staying yourself? It was interesting and hard and I learned a lot and I think that's very cool. When I first left in August, I think I left mostly because I felt like it was impossible to be here. And I really, really don't want the message here to be that it's impossible to move abroad or to be happy abroad. Because of course you can. If it's your dream to move abroad, go live abroad, live your dreams. It's gonna be amazing, I'm sure. It just takes time and you need to believe in it. And I think around August was the time that I really didn't believe in it anymore. Like, I was already here for half a year and I still didn't find a side job. And by the end, I actually found it, but I felt so emotionally drained and mentally like challenged that I really wanted to go home to find myself back, basically. Like, I needed to regroup and try again. And I'm happy I did, because now, in all honesty, it actually worked out, which is sad and happy at the same time. I did end up finding a job here in content creation, which is so cool. And I felt like I was part of a workplace where people actually really, really valued me, and it was a very international space where everyone was just like kind of encouraged to be themselves, and there was just a lot of understanding that if you move to a new country, that doesn't mean you're just gonna be like the stereotypical person that, like, of course you're also gonna be yourself, and of course you bring different cultures to the workplace. And it was just amazing to see how it blends together when there's room for that. So I was very, very, very happy and lucky to see and experience this place where I actually felt like I could be myself being here in Sweden, and actually feel that it could all work out. Like, it is possible, of course, like, I know that it is possible, but it felt so impossible for so long to find a job here, to learn Swedish. Like, if you don't know anyone, where are you going to start? I did really realize soon in, and this was very hurtful and hard to kind of cope with, I guess, as well, that it was very easy for other people to be an easier choice, if that makes sense. If someone spoke Swedish, that made it easier to choose them than choose me, because I didn't. That was, I guess, the biggest one. And I also was just graduated, so that also made it very hard, like, less working experience than probably the average applicant, and I didn't speak Swedish. So I kind of had two things not really working for me there. Does not mean that it's impossible, but it's a hard feeling to feel, because it makes every vacancy seem so far away. But for me, what really worked was, since I knew which cafes I liked, I knew which shops I liked, I understood more what I wanted to be part of, and for me it worked that I found my vacancy through Instagram, actually. And just because I could show that I was really, really interested and invested in this specific niche, that's also what resonates the other way around, right? So yeah, maybe just like find your space. And it does exist, and I'm very happy that I can confidently say that your space exists. And honestly did work out. Like, the apartment is done, feels great, and I did find a job, and I did get the person number, and I am starting to understand Swedish. Oh, right, don't underestimate how long it takes to learn a language, and don't project that onto others. It became such a frustration of mine, and I'm not even afraid to speak up about it anymore. Like, I am a person that's like a bit afraid of like throwing out my opinion on the internet, but when it regards to learning languages, you're not gonna learn a language in 3 months. Don't expect that from people. Don't expect it from yourself. Learning a language takes time. So just, if you want to, like, do your part, you can go to language classes and everyone's gonna be so proud of you. Don't be scared to try. But for me, I really needed to hear from someone. Like, your value as a person does not depend on whether or not you speak the native language of the area you're in. And that was, I think, hard for me to cope with, because it definitely felt like I couldn't just express myself, or couldn't just, be me without being like judged for not fitting in fast enough. But it's been a year, I still don't speak fluent Swedish, and that's completely normal. I know other people who don't. I know people who went faster than me, but that is okay. Like, that's nothing you need to compare yourself to. There's enough people who do hold the space for you to go at your own pace. That is very important. You can't like burn yourself out being in a new country to become like the perfect person. Like, it also doesn't even exist, obviously. But I finally feel like I understand what kind of traditions are here. The other day, I recognized my first Swedish celebrity. Then I was like, whew. It was oh no, I forgot her name. It was the girl from Love is Blind. She's now in the song festival. And I saw her and I was like, wow, she really looks like the girl from Love is Blind. And then it was her, and I was like, I felt so on top of the Swedish like TV culture, I guess. But yeah, that took a year, and that's fine. Like, take your time, go at your own pace. Like, no one's rushing you. I mean, actually, a lot of people are rushing you, but you don't need to listen to that. You'll find the value in yourself. I think that's the most important thing. So yeah, that was a big tip, and a bit frustration is not even the right word, just something that really touched me being here and having to deal with. I know now what it feels like to not just inherently belong somewhere and having to put a lot of study hours and work into trying to get along, and I think it's very helpful to try to see the joy in it and not only do it for like external validation. That's just gonna be too far down the road. And just know I see you. Like, I see you try, and that's enough. Like, more than enough. I'm so proud for everyone who's just trying, and also myself. So that aside, one part was the bureaucracy, one part was the identity, and I think like I just graduated and I was dealing with what kind of path I was going to be on. I didn't know what my career was going to look like. Everything felt very insecure. But now I truly feel with the PhD, like it's a 4-year long project, as everything goes right. Knock it off on wood, because I really, really hope that's just what I'm going to be doing for a while. I'm very invested and excited. I do feel like as a human, you need some kind of security, like some level of feeling safe almost, and like set. And then you can also start enjoying life around it more. I'm here for a month still having this feeling, and I'm so, so happy for that. Like, I'm so happy that I didn't need to end this on a negative foot. For me, trying to full-time live in Sweden was a big goal I had in mind. But I honestly can't say it ever really was my own dream. It was just kind of me trying to make sense of Jon and I's relationship, and yeah, just kind of trying to make things work and make things make sense. And with the PhD in the Netherlands, I truly feel like things are making sense, and I'm so happy for that. I can work from home sometimes. I already talked to my supervisors, and they're completely okay with me from time to time being in Sweden and working from home. You and I came from long distance to living here together and overcoming all of these challenges. I think it's gonna do us very well for me to have a solid foundation of knowing what project I'm working on, like financial security, just feeling at place, like having a home I really truly call home. And then I think I can also appreciate even more all of the beauty that Sweden has to offer. Like, I did make friends here, I do have Jon here, we have a little cat and a beautiful apartment, and there's so much we built. And I think like your 20s are for building, but sometimes you just want to see the end result. Like, I just want to see what comes when life feels a bit more set. Like, when I don't look into the hallway and think, oh, we really need a floor. Like, I'm very happy for a chapter of life where I just come home and drink a cup of tea and feel like, oh, you know what? I would love to create something, because I just have time and space for that, and not because it's something that is on the to-do list. I'm hoping I'm getting there. I really am. This month has really been about enjoying Sweden to its fullest potential. I'm going to the sauna, I'm taking drawing classes, like, just knowing that things will work out also gives so much space to just find joy in the moment as well. So that's what I've been doing. I've been doing quite good, I think, especially with this new big chapter coming up. I'm really appreciating this year for what it was in the insecurity and how far we have come with all the effort that we put. Yeah, I think you've seen like the apartment updates, and that was, I think, the biggest like project that was going on the last year, besides finding a job. But yeah, I'm happy. It feels good here. It feels like a cozy home to come back to. And I think it's gonna be super nice to manage both places at the same time. So yeah, I hope you stay tuned. This apartment series, I think, will be done. Well, I hope will be done. I hope it's on online right now. But yeah, let's just say we finished everything that we needed to in this apartment. And now I'm very happy for the next chapter, which will be in Nijmegen, back home. I'm so excited. So yeah, I'll take you along on the PhD adventure. I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm very curious if you guys have similar experience. Do you also live abroad? Are you thinking about moving abroad? or like, I don't know, what led you to this video? I'm very curious to hear. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, probably from the Netherlands. Bye!